Okay, Seton. Poll question for hour one. The Paul question.
The Paul question. Who had the best year?
Ooh.
Caitlin Clark had a monster year for sure.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's having a great year.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Simone Biles had a massive year. That's a real good suggestion.
Okay.
That's a hell of a comeback for her. She only gets to have a good year every 4 years. And Shohei Ohtani, he's had a great year because there is a horrible moment in it where it dipped and then went back up. Did he get paid in this calendar year, or was that last year?
I think going into this season, got paid. I think he deferred a lot of it. I think
he got paid a gajillion dollars. Managed to shake off a gambling scandal, and then had a 50-50 year, which is great.
Well, he also had off-season procedure.
He also had a procedure off-season. Yeah. He managed to injure his elbow and still have one of the great seasons. Yeah.
So Mahomes goes back-to-back. Simone Biles just further cements being the greatest gymnast and one of the greatest Olympic performers in history.
But after what happened 4 years ago, to come back and do it again is remarkable.
Didn't she have the twisties?
Yeah.
Was that the term that was used there? The twisties.
Yeah.
All right. So Caitlin Clark basically gave us 11 months of great basketball. I think she exceeded expectations. Shohei Ohtani somehow exceeded expectations this year. Simone Biles to come back the way she did to regain her form. So Mahomes, I'm not surprised at. Simone Biles, I'm a little bit surprised at because she lost her confidence, but she did perform the way we expect her to. Caitlin Clark, the numbers are similar to what I thought she was going to put up this year, but I think what she meant for the league, basketball in general, I don't think that can be overstated. I would say Ohtani, just because there's more mitigating factors in there of, wow, if you said this in March, he's going to have a procedure, he has somebody stealing money from him, he's not going to pitch, and he's going to go 50-50 or maybe 55-55. No one would have predicted that. If I said Caitlin Clark's going to average 18 and 9, you would have gone, as I did, they're going to make the playoffs. Okay. I wouldn't have been surprised. Mahomes going back-to-back, not surprised. Simone Biles to come back, a little bit surprised, but then she is the greatest Olympic gymnast of all time. So I would say Shohei Ohtani with what happened leading into this season. But I do think that's an interesting Paul question. Anything else? Does anybody disagree with me on this, Paul?
I think, like you said, the effect of Clark is almost bigger than her play on the court. What the change she had to lead the WNBA to way more relevancy and way more money and all the different things, expansion. The Ohtani thing, the bar was a little low. I've got the rundown from when it was announced that Ohtani would play and hit this year. We were pretty surprised. When I thought it was going to be Tommy John and a total missed season. And to that bar was really low to start the season of what he would do.
I think the over-under was 39 home runs for him, and he certainly exceeded that. I think the running part of this surprised a lot of people. I don't think he'll come close to a season like this in the future. First of all, he's 30. If he starts to pitch again, he's not going to be running as much. So this is one of those outliers where we're going to look back on this season, probably 10, 15, 20 years, and say, that was a remark. It's almost, Fernando Valenzuela, if you're old enough to remember, it became Fernando Mania. It was crazy of the reaction. The nightly news was covering it. And it was a pitcher that we were covering. Normally it's a hitter. If it was McGuire or Bonds, Sosa, Aaron Judge recently. What Shohei Ohtani has done is impacted. It's around the world with what he's done. And I think going to the Dodgers, playing in a big market, now finally being on a bigger stage, now we get to see him in the playoffs. So I think the payoff for Ohtani could be an all-timer here. Now, we do want to see what he's going to do on a big stage in the postseason. Mike Trout had 3 games in the postseason. Those might be the only 3 games that he'll have in his postseason. If Ohtani would happen to pitch in the postseason, And Dave Roberts said, look, the window's open just a little bit here. He didn't say the door, I don't think. I think he said the window there of him pitching. Maybe if he comes in, a couple of innings in relief. So there is that stage that's set for him, potentially, in the postseason. Yes, Paul.
I would add one thing on Mahomes. You've talked about this before, that he's being taken for granted, like maybe Michael Jordan at his peak. The guy's 29 years old and is a first ballot Hall of Famer if he just stopped. And it's also going into a season, if you pick anybody but the Chiefs, you're really not being – I think you're being kind of faux if you pick a Super Bowl team besides the Chiefs when Mahomes is healthy. And he's entered –
Well, I think it's easy to – you can take them and then somebody will say, oh, wow, that's really inspiring. Went out on a limb for that one, didn't you? I mean, that's what you get if, you want to take chalk. But, he's graduated. He's into the we take him for granted category. Tiger, we sort of put him in a category, and it's like it's Tiger or the field. It's Mahomes or the field. That's pretty rarefied air, speaking of which, Michael Jordan.